everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you another game review, another PlayStation 4 game review. And this is a game that has been out for quite some time on the PlayStation 4. I have had it in my library for quite some time. When it was first released, I played it for a couple of hours, and then there was probably another big release that I was looking forward to that came out around the same time, and that swallowed up all my time, so this got left by the sidelines. However, I've always wanted to put a bit more time into this game to get to play it. I love strategy games, I love sci-fi, and I love Battlestar Galactica. I loved it, the 1978 version of Battlestar Galactica, but I absolutely adored the reboot in 2004 when they brought Battlestar Galactica back with the mini-series and then the 4/5 seasons that followed that. I absolutely really just love that show so much. And they have tried to bring Battlestar Galactica out a couple of times in games. They did a PlayStation 2 version of a game, Battlestar Galactica, that was a bang average, like space shoot 'em up, if you like. It wasn't particularly good. So when I saw that they were bringing out this Battlestar Galactica game to the PlayStation, and it was like a strategy heavy game, I was really excited for it. And when I saw all the build up to it, it just looked my sort of game. I love strategy games, and if it's a strategy game that is based on a property or a show or a film or something that I'm really interested in, I get super excited for it. So I got really excited for this. And this, like I say, it's a very tactical heavy strategy game that is based on far more the rebooted show in 2004-2005. I mean, that is very clear from when you watch this, when you play this game, sorry. It even mimics the music from the show. If you know the music from the show, it's very drum heavy and orchestral, the music. It's very thumpy and beaty, the music, so it feels very authentic to that show. And essentially this game it's like a prequel to the show. It focuses on obviously the Cylon War and things, but the 12 colonies are still existing, and it's the early days of, like, you know, the war has broken out and all this kind of stuff. And your job essentially is to protect the 12 colonies from these Cylon attacks, and you've got like a tactical map, and your job essentially is to build a fleet, strengthen it, and protect all the areas on the map from Cylon attacks. And you do this in a number of ways, basically. And there's a few different levels to this game. It's like a management sim as well as like a strategy-heavy game, in a sense of you've got to like develop the finances in the colony so that you can fund your projects, build new ships. So you've got like corvette type ships and like fleet battle cruiser type ships, and also you do get battle stars as well as fighters. So you get all of them. Now you don't get them all early on in the game. Early on in the game you get kind of the corvettes and the frigates and the fighters, and you kind of jump into a map, and your goal is made pretty clear fairly early on. Some maps you'll go into and you're not exactly clear what situation you're going to fly into, but they're usually very much the same thing. You'll jump into a system, you'll investigate certain areas of this area in space that you've jumped into, and then you'll be confronted by different types of enemies for the most part, and it's your job to either protect this, that and the other, or take out these ships before they take out you. And that's it really. I mean, it's like a turn-based system, and so you've got a kind of, it's quite a unique way of doing it. You can see from the clips on the screen that it's almost like a game of chess. You move your pieces around to where you anticipate sometimes where the enemy ship is going to be going, and then you can do a number of things. You can fire your missiles, fire your torpedoes, or put your turrets on like focus fire to aim at a certain enemy. You can so you can decide and plot which enemies you're going to take out first. You've got your fighter pilots that you can your fighters that you can choose to defend certain areas, defend your frigates, your corvettes, your battle stars, or you can send them straight into battle. And you've got to be tactical into whereabouts on the map you're going to send these certain things. And pretty much that's how most of the battles are dictated. Now, obviously there are some differences here and there. Like I say, some of them are escort missions, some of them are protection missions. Most of them consist of very, very similar things. And as you progress through the game, you get better ships, you get better corvettes, better battle stars, better weapons, better missiles. So you're able to develop everything as you go through the game. So that's how it keeps the interest up and things. But also the Cylons in the game, they will do what they do in the show. What they do in the show, they can hack certain ships, which will lower their defenses. It will make them less effective on the battlefield because you can't fire weapons. If they hack the navigation systems, you can't hardly move around the map. So, and if you don't deal with that ship that's hacking you, and you don't repair certain systems, then you become useless on the battlefield, basically. So it's very, very tactical heavy. And the battles are actually take quite a long time to do, so you've got to be quite patient. If you're not a patient gamer and you don't like strategy games, you will not like this game at all. So you have to be really, really patient here. But the best thing about this is not necessarily the tactical side of it. The best thing about it is when you've completed one of your missions, you can watch the replay, and it plays it all back in real time. And it does these really cool camera angles, so you can see like from the cockpit of the fighters when they're attacking, you can see when the missiles are fired off, and they're very, very cinematic, and they're really, really cool to watch. And so if you're in quite a tight battle and you just get through it with the skin of your teeth, it's a really, really cool thing to do, to watch the replays back, and it makes it very cinematic and really, really fun. And essentially that's what you're doing here. I mean, there is a story base aspect of it. It's very story light, I would say. There are some names you'll recognise from the show, like Commander Kane and people like that, as well as some of the battle stars that you'll remember from the show. It tells you early on that Galactica has gone missing and all this kind of stuff, and so it does take you through a story, but essentially it's just like a thread to get you from A to B, to get you from these battles and things. So like I say, you can see there you've got your tactical map. You determine where you're going to jump, which systems you're going to jump to, what ships you're going to build, because you will lose ships, so you need to make sure that your fleet is replenished. You're getting new ships built, new weapons built, and all the rest of it, and make sure you add them to your fleet to make your fleet stronger and more powerful. I will say the tutorial is pretty rubbish here. I didn't find it useful at all. It was really hard to follow. I play these games a lot. I kind of got through this game early on by using my own brain, if you like, because I'm used to games like this. I didn't find the tutorial particularly helpful. And the UI system as well, it's a nightmare early on. Until you get used to it, it's very, very confusing in regards to how you move around, like the tactical map, how you build, how you research, how you get your funds, all this kind of stuff. What the intelligence section's for. So you've got all these different aspects of the game, but essentially the main part of the game is getting into these battles and doing these tactical heavy battles, missions and then watching the replays back after, which is very, very cool. So if you're a fan of Battlestar Galactica, I would say this is a must, and you will enjoy it, especially if you like tactical strategy games. So I'm going to give this game a 7.5 out of 10. It's a really, really good tactical game. It's a game that I think you'll enjoy if you're a fan of the show. But yeah, it is a bit repetitive, and the menu system isn't particularly good. But it's a well-made game that you should be able to pick up fairly cheap these days.